So we kind of talking about our men's ministry. We're thinking about the guys at Firebrand, and we've had a couple of years now of having a men's breakfast once a month, and we want to talk a little bit about why we think this is important, what we're trying to achieve with the men's breakfast, what kind of itches we're trying to scratch in the community, and what tools we're using to do that. So
one of our biggest things right now is the fact that guys don't have that opportunity to be able to disrobe, so to speak.
Yeah.
We have opportunities where we can get together, we can hang out, and we chat as buddies, and it's a surface style of chatting. We're just hanging out, and we're just sharing our worldly ideas and things, just our normal everyday thoughts and desires. But there is no place where we can actually talk and discuss and actually scratch that itch, that thing that's making us tick on a day-to-day basis, our actual struggles, the things that behind closed doors that are going on in our individual lives, whether it's with our wives, our children, our own personal demons, things that we're struggling with, the things that cause us hurt on a daily basis. That because what are we told as from the time we're little guys? Suck it up, be strong. Don't show any emotions, and we need a place to where we can be able to unload that with other guys and
confidence.
In confidence.
We're going to keep meeting in person, but if you can't, we will still have Zoom, but we're not going to record it, right? So there'll be a dial in, be part of it, but we're not going to record it or put it up somewhere for others to watch. And that's one of the ways I think that in confidence, brothers together, we want to try and work out a little bit more accurately.
Yeah.
So that in confidence thing is the intro to this video has been the shields locking together. The only way you can lock your shields together is if you open yourself up to the guy next to you.
And you got to be there.
And you've got to be there.
Got to be there.
Yeah. And the danger of being alone, right, when you're under attack. A lone warrior is just, he might be really well armed, but he's still a lone warrior.
Sort of like the sermon we watched when they were throwing those fireballs, and Mike Agee was the lone guy. And they were hitting him real good, but we had to group all the other people with those shields to protect him.
Right. Yeah,
and that's actually way back before he got cancer.
Well, what's amazing is the fact that the military, and we live in a military area, is military has a good term for "I've got your six," right?
Yeah.
Which is very important, especially for guys who, for any of us, men and women. If you think that you can fight alone, who's watching your back?
Yeah.
So you need to have somebody that is not just in front of you, but somebody who's beside you, somebody who's behind you, all around you. So you need to have those buddies there to lock arms with, and lock shields with.
In fact, I'm going to be preaching this on Sunday. I'm going to be using the story of Jonathan and his armor bearer, and as they start to attack the Philistines, just these two guys. It says very clearly that Jonathan engaged with them, and then the armor bearer finished them up behind. So as he moved forward, he would maybe kill 2 or 3, but maybe some of them survived. It would come at his back. His armor bearer was there to sort those guys out. So it's a prime picture of what we're trying to do with men's ministry.
Yeah,
it means that as a guy, we've got to get a little bit more vulnerable with each other, right?
Yes,
and that's not a great forte amongst men. Is being vulnerable and being honest. But I think it's something God wants.
Yeah.
So we're using at the moment, as we go through it month by month, we're using the Foundations book. This one over here. Why do you think we kind of focused on the Foundations book? What's the?
Well, I think it has a lot of the basic foundations, but it's not 100% in depth, but it's like cuts in at least 50% of it. So you got a good bite into it, but it gives you enough scriptures and all that to actually dig deeper on each one instead of having, 500 page on each individual subject.
Right.
You got 3 or 4 pages on each one, just enough to get you to look at the basics and see what's going on and give you a good foundation on each one.
But just to give you kind of an idea of what we're going to go through, prayer and fasting, we're going to talk a little bit about prayer and fasting, what it means as a lifestyle for us, why we believe the Bible. That's going to be a whole kind of breakfast. And we might even divide some of these up into a few breakfasts if we need to. Finances and giving, the church, how the church works, laying on of hands, what does that mean? Why do we do it? Prophecy, evangelism, spiritual warfare is something that I think every man is involved with if he's a believer, whether he knows it or not. I would even say every man on this planet is involved with spiritual warfare, if he knows it or not. And then our vision, values, and vehicles as a church as well. So we're kind of still getting into the meat of it. So lots of opportunity for good discussion.
It is.
Yeah.
And I think that's the best part, is the fact that, it's not that we open this book and then we go line by line. We just kind of open it up, and then all of a sudden it envelops or it unfolds into this hearty discussion between all of us. It's not a question answer series, but it's a robust conversation of what is taking place. There's just little snippets in there that really appeals to each individual who's in the group, and then all of a sudden we're in the midst of deep conversation that actually takes up the entire time that we're together.
Yeah, it's kind of like a catalyst. And what did you say earlier? You said we're not going through a book, we are dealing with life. Right?
Correct.
I think that's what was your words. I found that to be true. I mean, the book is a catalyst, and then we start dealing with life. So when you read through a chapter, how long does it take you to read through for the next breakfast?
Depending, about an hour or 2 hours, depending right in there.
Yeah.
How fast or slow you read.
So once a month, a couple hours to prepare, to just make sure you know what we're talking about,
Right.
maybe make a few notes, things that you're dealing with.
See
and
how it
then-
hits you personally, and then expound on that.
Yeah.
That's mostly what it is.
Yeah.
And there is nothing in this book or in each chapter that is going to be that doesn't apply to each person individually.
Right.
I mean, everything in there applies to you somehow.
Right.
That's just a given.
It's a given, because these are the kind of the basic foundational doctrines of Christianity, and why we believe them to be true, and how they apply. And it's got to apply to everyone, otherwise it's not foundational. Yeah. So the book itself, we have printed some out. Doug and Barbara printed some out for us, and they are available at church, or if you get hold of me, I can get you one. We're not charging for them, but they're also available on the website under our resources. You can download the PDF for free. You can also buy one on Amazon. It's on Amazon. You can get all this from the website, the Amazon link and everything. So that's all available. And then our breakfasts are Saturday morning breakfasts. We do them once a month. We haven't yet picked which Saturday of the month we'll do them for 2021, but just watch out for that notice. That'll come up.
I think we were talking about the
Third.
starting up in February.
We were, yes.
To kind of get everybody settled back in for the new year.
Yes.
So more likely to do it right before Valentine's Day.
Yeah.
There you go.
We'll do a chapter on
Love.
chocolates and hearts and little warm teddy bears. How about that? That should be fun. Great, guys. I think I'm very grateful to see the men that we have at Firebrand, and I'm glad to see those that are knitting together. But I do want to make this into a calling for all of our men at Firebrand to say there's an opportunity here for you to build with a band of brothers into the calling and purpose God has for you.
Yes.
So take advantage of it.
And at the
Come get
moment,
involved.
and what's going on is you're not devoting hours and hours and hours of time for this thing. You're only devoting yourself 2 hours or per preparation and an hour and a half for the meeting, and so that's only 3.5 hours for a whole month, which isn't that big of a commitment to take out of you the rest of your life.
Right. And out of that, I think has sprung other relationships, other activities, and things that we do. I know some of the guys got bike riding, and there's been some river rafting, and there's time for that. But we need to build it around our vulnerability. Of course, Buddy's been with us the whole time, and he pays about as much attention as he's paying right now through the meetings.
The only thing I was thinking, I don't think it sets with this whole thing is that, but volunteering and helping out in church.
Really good.
I just want testimony of what I did. It was a while back, one of the bigger churches I was going to, and they always have all this roster of, you got to do something in church to help out, volunteer. And they had the roster of greeting in front and doing this and doing that. And I did some greeting out front, just, it's okay, but you sign up and all that. And then I decided, all these people are doing everything. So then I said, well, I got to do something. Find something that there's a hole in. And start doing it. Don't ask for anybody, just start doing it. The only thing I could see consistently that was neglected is picking up the garbage.
Yeah.
And so I just started, every time I seen a garbage can full, I just started grabbing it, pulling it out, and then throwing it out in the dumpster after church or during the meetings or during the fellowship things. The garbage can full, I just grab it and all that, throw it out. Then after a while, it was sort of funny, after a while people would start coming up to me and telling me there's a garbage can full over here, the garbage can full over. So basically I became the garbage can picker up, but it was a needed volunteer thing that nobody wanted to do.
Yeah.
And that's what I try and look for, is something nobody really wants to do, and do that one.
Doug, that is such an important overlooked piece. I mean, the Bible is full of, that's what God's looking for. And Doug's saying this as a teaching moment to say, this is a great way for us to serve as men. Look for something. God's given us initiative as men for a reason. And we I think in our culture there's way too many thinking, okay, I'm at church now, I can just put my feet up and things are going to happen to me. And I don't think that's the model that God has in mind.
Right.
This proactive, take initiative, what needs to be done, how do I get involved, how do I even plan my day, my week, so that I can be involved in something, is what he's looking for.
Yeah.
And it's just a great place to start. I think it's a bit like riding a bicycle, right? You get on a bicycle, what's the worst thing you can do? Is pick up both your feet and go, I hope I'm going to go somewhere, right? You're just going to fall over.
Right.
What you got to do is you got to start pedaling.
Mm-hmm.
And even if you don't quite yet know how to steer, you go in a direction, you might even go in the opposite direction to what God wants you in. But once you're moving, he can turn you. And
That's right. At least you're moving.
Direction. At least you're moving.
I would also add that the men's group, it's not a matter of whether you're married or single. There's no age limit on it. You know?
Yeah.
This pertains to you if you're a man.
Yeah. Buddy's only 11 years old and he goes.
Buddy's only 11. Yeah, he's still a boy.
Join us.
That is also such an incredibly important point, because this is not the old guys saying you young guys should come learn from us, right?
Right.
Or maybe a little bit. But it's also us old guys saying we need to learn from you young guys.
Absolutely.
But young guys are facing challenges as well, and need each other. They also need input. Often I find if I share something with a younger person, a younger man, he can come up with a solution that I didn't even think about,
Mm-hmm.
or pray for me in a certain way. And
It's like when I was working, we had one guy in our shop that was actually from Laos. He worked for the Navy, became a U.S. citizen and all that stuff. And he's a good tech, and I'm a good tech. I mean, a lot of times I can always figure out things to go quicker doing that. But he always thinks different. Like he's from Laos, so he thinks different.
Right.
And he can figure out things that can get done faster than I can, and he does it a totally different way. And I said, "Oh, that's way easier." He
Yeah.
thinks different,
Yeah.
and that's all the thing between younger people and older people. We're growing up, but we always grew up, and everybody thinks different. But you know,
Yep.
you always learn stuff from all different. And I always try and always kept my mind all my life is always listening to everybody else, because I know everybody else. I'm not the only one with all the answers. Everybody has the answers, so I'm always listening and learning from everybody else. I've always
Absolutely.
done that my whole life. So,
Yep.
and
Yeah.
the men's meeting, you got younger guys there, they got stuff that you'll never think of.
That's
So,
right. Well, I'll end off on the thought that the breakfasts are always really good and kind of manly type breakfast. There's eggs and meat and fruit and something baked of some variety. So
And coffee.
and always coffee. Yeah. So that's
if you have to,
important
we
piece.
can make tea.
yes. Guys, calling out to you. Come and join us for our men's breakfasts once a month.
Sure
And
thing.
you'll hear some more details as we go through the year.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
Okay.
you.